hope you got wonderful designs. Please post it in the Discuss forum of the course so we can also see the creativity from your side. But now let's discuss into what are the existing applications and how the UI actually exists there. So what you can see here is a simple user interface where we are using a master detail layout. I'm going into a little technical sense here on how this technically implemented on some of the sample application or some of the applications which are running, but this is a simple master and details layout where the master represent the header level details. You can have multiple sales orders, so user can scroll through all the sales order and can click on their own specific sales order, and the details will be displayed in the right hand side. User will be mostly concerned about what will be all the items which are present inside the sales order in the line item level details, and also can go one level deeper by clicking on a particular item. It can go and see what is the vendor, what is the item, how many quantity of the item is produced. You can have a summary here, a summary of the item which is going to be purchased here. But if the user who is the supervisor want to see details, then can basically go inside, and they can also have some activity, can be approve, can be reject, and while rejecting they need to mention some of the comment, what is the reason for rejection. So this is a simple application, how it's already made, and why this application is built in such a way, and what are the small criteria which come into play to produce this master detail layout we'll discuss here. Now when it comes to the entire application, you will see that when a user is actually using the application, they are completely inside a flow. So let me see all the sales order. Okay, so let's start with the number one, or I can sort it even with the most priority wise or maybe price wise. So each sales order will have certain amount to be paid, and maybe the user, the supervisor, can sort the sales order depending upon the price. The higher the price, show me first because they are important. Or maybe you can have your own primary criteria for which you can sort all the list. It should be a list because there will be multiple sales order item which can be scrolled through. Now by default there should be one single selected, the first one top, and then maybe initially when there is no filter or criteria mentioned, you can just show it based on the sorting of the order number, and then based on the user filtering options you can show the sales order, and user will then go into a flow of going to detail of the sales order, and here you need to show at the top KPI. So when user is in the flow, they need to see the important information first. What is the price, total price? What is the date on which it was procured? What department it belongs to? And what is the person involved in the transaction? So all these things should be mentioned here, out here, and in the detail level, all the items are not shown. So what we are using here is the flow in which our user is going to navigate is of the primary importance, because what is happening here is whenever you're trying to use an application, you're trying to achieve a task, and for the task to be carried out properly, you need to really remove all the roadblock and understand how the user will be going through. So user will first come here, then will go here, then will come here, and then maybe see the details, and finally take the decision. So this is the flow, and you need to care about if this is simple enough to understand and highlighted, because then for our supervisor, the activity will be much easier to perform. You can provide additional functionality as well to approve all the sales order at once if the supervisor is in a rush and have confirmation from some of the other colleague which is reviewing all the sales order. So multiple sales order approval functionality can be provided, because that is part of how our application will be simplified for the supervisor. So the first thing to design is you should first look into the flow of how our user is going to navigate to complete its task. Now, the second thing is context. For example, if I press on the line number item 1, 2, 3, and there's more. So similarly here, 1, 2, 3, 4 we have. And if the user went to sales order 4 and want to know about the item number 3 here, and the user is pressing on this particular item, and then one more screen comes up. We have the back button here, maybe the top, and some of the details here about the item and the sales order here. Now, in this screen, the new screen of the details, this is called the detail screen. From here to here, this entire part is detail screen, and this is the master screen. So now here, the change will happen to this entire detail screen. You will have the entire details of item number 3 displayed here. Now, this entire item which is displayed here is information about our material number 3. And from a context side, if you're starting the application from just this particular screen, you might not understand why the 3rd item is displayed here. For example, here as well, when the application starts, the user will be confused that there are multiple sales order. Which particular sales order details I'm seeing in the detail screen? So this should be either first one, or depending on you, it will be just information screen. So based on the action or the UI, context matter a lot, and changing of the elements of the UI, you should be carrying out with awareness about the context for the user. If the user clicks on some particular activity or button, or maybe list item, or maybe table item, or anything, any components, then the change should be reflected in the screen based on that context. So a contextual awareness on whatever elements you are adding or whatever feature you're trying to accomplish within the UI is important to design a user interface with the Fiori and UI5 application.